All right, so the federal government just launched their long talked about GST relief program for first-time home buyers on brand new homes up to $1.5 million. In this video, I'm going to tell you how this rebate works, what it's worth, why it could be a great opportunity for buyers, and why it's brutal for sellers, and the single clause that quietly cuts out thousands of people out of the deal. So without further ado, let's jump right in. On May 27th, Ottawa announced that first-time buyer of brand new homes pay no GST on the first $1 million of price. From $1 million to $1.5 million, the savings are phased out in a dollar-for-dollar linear manner. And at $1.5 million and above, there is no GST rebate. For context, GST on new housing is 5%. So on a $1 million unit, you're saving $50,000 in GST payments. Anything from $1 million to $1.5 million, you're saving approximately half of that. And when your price hits $1.5 million or above, then the rebate is zero and you're liable for full GST. The same rule applies if you're building a brand new home on a piece of land you own or if you're buying into a co-op. But for the purpose of this video, we're focusing on new build condos because that's where most first-time home buyers are shopping and that's where inventory is piling up. Now let's take a look at the numbers. We can see over here that in Greater Vancouver, we have 7,327 active condo listings currently. And in Fraser Valley, you have 2,587. This is actually a 10-year high. You can see, even in 2020, you go all the way back to 2015, and you haven't seen these levels of inventory in a very long time. At the same time, sales are running extremely soft. We've talked about this indicator before, the sales to active listings ratio, where when it's under 12%, it's a buyer's market. Between 12 to 20%, it's a balanced market, and anything above 20% is a seller's market. So we can see right now, we are at 15%, somewhere between 13 to 15% in Greater Vancouver and Fraser Valley. And we haven't seen these lows in a long time. Even you see in April of 2020, it was around 10 to 11%. And this was when the COVID panic was setting in. And you see 6 months later, and this is at the height of all the craziness, Fraser Valley was at 139%. That's how much of a seller's market it was. And in Greater Vancouver, we were at 57%, which is, again, significantly into seller's market territory. Today, the rates are high, inventory is piling up, and consumer confidence is extremely shaky. Now, for buyers, these market conditions mean a lot of choice and leverage. You can compare multiple buildings because we're not limited in inventory anymore. And sellers have come to terms with the new reality, and they understand that their unit is one of the hundreds. And they may be more open to negotiating price, terms. They may even cover your closing costs if it comes to it. Now, layer in the GST break that was just announced, and your effective purchase price dropped by another 5%. And that's an extra 5% you can put towards your down payment, furnishing, or even a buffer for in case the rates go up. Now, on the flip side of the coin, anyone who bought pre-sales back in 2021 is in a really difficult position. A lot of them closed recently at peak construction costs and higher interest rates, and the resale price is significantly lower than when they purchased it. They also pay the 5% GST at completion, which is 50K. And since new buyers can avoid paying that tax altogether, this is a cost that they can't even recover from their sale price. And the result is that a lot of these brand new condos are underwater from day one. Now, add in the carrying costs like mortgage payments, strata fees, property taxes, and you start to understand why so many of these sellers feel the urgency to sell their property as soon as possible, adding to the already existing inventory issue. Also mentioned there's a wording in this program that excludes a lot of people from this incentive. So let's take a look at the exact wording that actually sparked a petition of over 2,000 signatures at the time of recording of this video. So it says the FTHB GST rebate, the first-time homebuyer GST rebate, would generally be available if the agreement of purchase and sale for the home is entered into with the builder on or after May 27, 2025 and before 2031, and construction of the home begins before 2031 and the home is substantially completed before 2036. So translation, if you entered into a pre-sale contract before May 27, 2025, and even if your unit completes in the next year, then you cannot take advantage of this program and you're liable for the full GST. And actually, thousands of people were caught in this gap. I was actually scrolling on the petition website and taking a look at different comments that people are putting, people that are in this position. And there was a comment that really caught my eye, which is from a buyer in Surrey that says, 10 days before the announcement of the new Canadian GST rebate rules, I signed a purchase agreement for my future home. Little did I know that this decision, due to timing alone, would cost me thousands of dollars. Many others are in the same position as me, having signed agreements prior to May 27, 2025, but whose projects will not be completed until a later date. We are unfairly excluded from benefiting from this relief, which was intended to assist first-time homebuyers like us during these challenging economic times. There's also a secondary issue with this program that was tucked in the limitations in the fine print, which says, if pursuant to an assignment sale, a first-time homebuyer assumes the rights and obligations of another person that is a purchaser of a new home under an agreement of purchase and sale with a builder, the first-time homebuyer rebate would not be available if that original agreement of purchase and sale was entered into before May 27th of 2025. Listen, I made another video about how assignment of contracts in Vancouver are completely dead. But this is the final nail in the coffin, because with something like this, it makes assigning a contract completely impossible. So if you purchased a property in the past few years and you don't have the ability to keep it, really you're stuck with the contract. This isn't a one-off either. You may remember BC's homebuyer rescission period that went into effect on January 3rd of 2023, which essentially allowed buyers to back out of a firm agreement within 3 business days, and they would have to pay a 0.25% penalty. It was essentially a mechanism to cool the subject-free bidding wars of 2021. But by the time it took effect, the Bank of Canada had already hiked the rates 7 different times, and multiple offer situations were non-existent. It seems that government policy always arrives too late after the momentum has already shifted. This GST rebate feels very similar. It's too late for those buyers that purchased before that date and are stretched the most, while it's suspiciously good timing for developers that are right now struggling with selling their pre-sale inventory and can take advantage of this gap. So the winners here are first-time home buyers shopping for completed or near completed new condos under $1 million, and developers that can advertise their inventory as GST included and sell their remaining inventory. Now the losers are buyers that are locked into pre-sale contracts that they signed prior to May 27th of 2025. It's also small investors that just closed on their unit and they're forced to eat up that GST cost because there's no way they can recover that on their sale price. And also pre-sale purchasers who were hoping to assign it at some point, all hope is dead for them. Now, what to watch out for in the coming months? Petition that I just showed you, it's starting to gain traction. And in the coming months, we should keep a lookout for any sort of grandfathering amendments that may be added to this ruling, including some of those people that purchased before May 27th of 2025. On the other hand, keep a lookout for developers, because given this new 5% savings that buyers enjoy, they may take advantage of the opportunity and reprice their unsold inventory to adjust for these new savings. They may want a piece of the pie. And also, if the rates stay elevated until 2026, we can expect inventory to continue piling up, and that may apply downward pressure on the pricing of these condos as well, regardless of the rebate. So, is this a helpful policy or another half-baked headline grab? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you're looking for more insights on our real estate market from someone that works in this market and walks these listings every day, don't forget to like and subscribe so you're notified every time we upload a new video. Thanks for watching. I'm Paris. I'll see you in the next video.